I'd like to invite Ken Fulmer, our CEO and President, IIBA, on stage. Ken has a huge history with IIBA. He's been a volunteer like me. My job changed just 3 months back. I became a full-time employee as well. But both of us have been volunteering for almost a decade, and so has Ken. But Ken has been part of the board for a long time. And in his last role as a volunteer, he was the chair of the board. And I used to report to him as board, and now I report to him as the leader for the India and APAC region. Ken, over to you. Thank you very much. Welcome to India. And by the way, Ken's first visit to India.
Yes. I'm on. All right, good morning. Welcome everyone remotely. Welcome everyone here in the room. Want to talk a little bit about IIBA and some of the things that we're accomplishing. But it's about how we deliver value to our stakeholders and to our members. And we want to talk a little bit about some of those things and where they're going into the future. Yeah, it worked. So you look at our core purpose. It's about uniting a community and focusing on better business outcomes. All right, so those are the things that drive our decision-making processes. And when we talk about uniting a community, it's first and foremost uniting the business analysis community, but it also includes the broader community of people that are involved in creating those better business outcomes. And for us, the notion of collaboration and integration are very important points for us as we move forward. Some of the things specific to India, we're working hard to get our chapters going. I've met a few of the chapter officers as they came in this morning, and I thank you. I'm a 6-year chapter president in my volunteer history. I was the president of the Philadelphia chapter in the United States. We had about 300 active members in that chapter, and one of the things that we did is get the community involved in the sense of the business community. The other thing that we're doing is broadening the corporate program. So in the last few months, we've totally revamped the corporate program and focusing, and you'll hear this about membership too. So the corporate program, we're focusing on how do you really engage so that it's a personal human experience, right? It's about getting people at the management level sharing their experiences, learning and growing themselves, right? So we're trying to create forums in which that can occur, and that's the engagement model is the biggest thing that's changed in it. So we're looking forward to doing a lot more of that and engaging a lot more institutions here in India into that conversation and learning and growing our knowledge base. The other that Ashish talked about is the excellent relationship we have with NASSCOM here in India, and we look forward to continuing that relationship into the future. And then, we're certainly interested in growing membership. We are a membership-based organization, but the part of that, what makes people want to become a member? So it's kind of, when you get down to it, it's a little bit about the curated intellectual property that IIBA provides, and the best example of that is the BA Bach, all right, that is our Bible, if you will, our most important document to date, and we're continuing to do that kind of work. But it's also about at the membership level, and a lot of our future is about how to improve that, again, human experience. How do you feel like you're part of a community? These are your go-to people that when you have a professional issue and want to learn what's going on in another company or what's happening out there, that you feel part of that community. And that could be, an in-person thing through an event, or it could be an online experience through a meetup session for a topic. The other thing we're doing is, and we'll be talking about this more as Ashish talks about it, we're involved in a global thought leadership program, and I'll save the punchline of that for Ashish a little bit later. The other that's going on is we dub it for right now, just as a project title, EBAC. And when you think about the BA Bach, we're trying to take that and say, what about, that's for the individual practitioner, we're trying to take that and expand it into corporate practice management. How do you do business analysis better as a practice? And again, how do you integrate it to the other professions to really drive those better business outcomes? Business analysis and good business analysis is fundamental, but by itself, it can't deliver those outcomes. So it's how we play, interact with each other, and create that integration. We're also doing a lot in the research area, and we're totally revamping our certifications. As you know, we just last year launched the new levels. We're tweaking the entry level to expand that capability. We're creating that fourth level and flushing it out to align with some international standards for certification. But into the future, we envision that the notion of the hybrid BA, that BAs only do what traditionally in the HR type community was called a role delineation effort, where it defined cleanly one job versus another. And we're seeing that the marketplace reality, that's not so much the case anymore, that people do multiple roles and need multiple skills in order to effectively execute those roles. So we're going to develop a concept that embeds certification, but it really is trying to create an atmosphere of lifetime learning. That just because you have your CBAP or any certification, that's point in time. How do you keep learning, staying relevant yourself, and keeping the profession relevant? It's still based on the core of relating to the business. That doesn't change. And it's about analysis, and that doesn't change. So the business analysis profession is highly relevant in that context. Is elicitation and the techniques of the BA BOK applicable to every scenario? No, we might have to adjust that and say there's cases where we'd have to expand the tools and techniques of elicitation. So those are things that will be driving us forward in the future. The other that I wanted to talk about that is happening at another conference at this same time window is we did an alliance with the Agile Alliance people out of North America, which is a global-based organization for Agile. And we've developed an extension of the BA BOK. There was an Agile extension, but this new version of the Agile extension is much more comprehensive. And it's leveraging the notion of agility and the Agile mindset and applying it into the realms of business analysis. And the context of it is around these three, what we refer to as planning horizons, right? So it's about strategy and how you do analysis at the strategy level, at the initiative level, and at the delivery level. So we're all familiar with the delivery level and Scrum and Kanban and the other techniques of that. This is about an umbrella that looks at that and leverages how to do that well, and it looks at the tools and techniques that are needed to do that well. So we invite you to do that quickly. What I was describing before was the changes in the skills and the evolving capabilities for the future BA. There's a panel that'll be talking about this, so I'll save the detailed description to this, and we'll be talking about this as our view, but it's about that specialization and growth in a number of dimensions. So thank you very much for your attention this morning. I'd like to invite Dr. Sandhya to the stage, please.